Over 350 million people worldwide suffer from depression. 16 million adults have had at least one major depressive episode in 2012. That's 6.9% of the population. Every year, about 42.5 million American adults suffer from some sort of mental illness condition, be it depression, bipolar conditions, or schizophrenia. Who's affected by mental illness? 1 in 5 adults. Depression, suffering in plain sight. Hi, I'm Sinder Coleman Miller, and I'm here at the second half. Thank you for joining me this week as we talk about a subject that is just as great as there are people who experience it. And we hope, it is our hope today, that something that we say during this session will be a blessing to you or someone that you love. Today we have a wonderful lady here, someone who I met a couple of months ago. Seems like I've known you a while. Jane Helire. And Jane is a mother, a daughter, an author. She has a book that will soon be released, The Beauty of a Butterfly. She's also an educator, a mental health professional, and she has a master's degree in psychology from Walden University. And she facilitates monthly support groups and conversations with individuals on subjects of which we're talking today. Depression is a big one. Wouldn't you say that, Jane?
Yes, it is.
I'm so thankful for you being here. I met you at an event a couple of months ago, and we sat next to one another, and immediately we were connected. And you began to share with me. You were so wonderful and so transparent about your journey and your goals and what's happening for you in the future. And since then, we've talked and we've met, and I just wanted you to come today to share with our audience about depression. Why is it important to the second half? It's important because as we journey through life and into our second half, the 50-plus generation, we experience many things. And one of the greatest things that we're suffering are illnesses or behaviors, if you will. It's depression.
Right.
For many reasons. It can be due to life changes of losing our community, of the passing of loved ones, of ending of marriages. Our children are going through things. And so in and through those life situations, depression oftentimes set in, and we need to know how to circumvent it. We need to know that we're not the only ones going through.
Right.
And we need to know that we cannot isolate ourselves, but we must allow ourselves to be open and to share with people who we can trust, who can help us to make it on the other side of our depressive state into lives of victory and quality of lives. Do you agree?
I agree totally.
Absolutely. And in talking with you, Jen, one of the things that you were so transparent with me on was the domestic violence, that you had a marriage that was unsuccessful, and in and through that, you suffered domestic violence, which led to a battle in your mind, which was depression. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your openness. Thank you for
You're
your
welcome.
heart. Let's talk a little bit about your marriage. Just a little bit. We don't want to.
Okay.
We don't want to focus in on the bad part. We want to talk
Right.
more so about how you came through and what's on the other side of it.
Right.
But in order for us to understand that, we have to know a little bit about what took place and what caused you to make the decision to enter into a relationship that caused you harm.
Okay. So let me just say, before the marriage, I was healthy. I did take part in my health, my eating healthy. I would run, I would walk every day before classes. I became a vegetarian, and then when I got married, everything changed. And of course, when you're in an abusive relationship, it's a controlling relationship.
Mind control.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so it's sad when you allow someone to have control over you, and you become this weak individual. And I became that weak individual, and I lost who I was in the process. I didn't know who Jane was anymore. and my self-image was taken away. And so I became depressed, and my close family and friends around me didn't see it because I hid it. I'm not one for confusion. I'm not one to involve other people in my world. So I hid that. And people couldn't see the signs. They weren't aware of what I was going through. But I knew deep down inside what I was going through, which was an eating disorder. I would eat because I was depressed. I would eat to comfort that feeling that I had, which involved comfort foods. And so I would sit on the sofa and I would eat chips and ice cream and everything just to get rid of that depression feeling. And that behavior was repeated throughout the evening. And I would wake up with bags of chips on the bed, under the bed. It was a cycle. Exactly. You know, and it was so bad to the point where I would go to Burger King, Popeyes, and just eat. And I would hide, when I get to a red light, I would hide the food bags with my purse so that the person next to me in the car wouldn't see this big 300-pound woman eating.
Yes.
And that's when I knew I had a problem.
You had a problem. And let me interject there, Jen. Isn't it something how we can value other people's opinions of us more so than ourselves?
Yes.
Because when you're in this type of a state, you know, with yours it may be food, with someone else it may be drugs, alcohol, sex, what have you. We tend to value what other people think of us more so than being healthy and operating in what we know would be best for us. So you hid the food, knowing that the food was not going to bring you a positive in, but it was going to cause you challenges. But you hid the food from people who didn't even know you and really didn't even care.
I know.
Isn't that amazing?
But I was so worried and I was so scared that they were going to see me eating.
And their opinion.
And then soon as that light turned green, I couldn't wait. I was sitting there, I was like, hurry up and turn green, hurry up and turn. As soon as it turned green and that car left,
then you eat until the next
I started eating.
light.
I was like, whoo, and I would start eating. It was so sad, you know, and it's a shame that we go through life worrying about what other people think. And it all stemmed from what? What do you think it stemmed from? It stemmed from when Adam ate off that apple, when he ate that apple. That's when pride came in.
Right.
That's when they realized that the sin took place.
But that
we were worried what people would think. And that's when they became shameful that they were naked.
Yes. And this is very good because a lot of our issues and insecurities, they may take place in the now.
Yeah.
However, some of them stem from when we were from our childhoods.
Yes.
That we are children living in adult bodies.
Oh my
and so
gosh.
that's why I believe that we're susceptible to some of the things that we allow to happen to us because of the insecurities that are already there. Someone could have said something to you when you were 7 years old or gave an opinion about you, and it's set in your mind. It's the mindset,
in your
thinking.
mind. And I don't want to give too much because you made a point. A lot of it stemmed from when we were children.
Yes.
And a lot of I took a lot from this person because of my childhood.
Yes.
I took a lot from this person, and I didn't say a lot of things because of my childhood. But all of that, and you'll know why in my book.
Okay. Yes.
I told someone the other day, which was my boyfriend, I told him the other day, you will know a whole lot about me, why I do certain things when you read my book.
Read the book.
You're going to know it stemmed from my childhood, and you're going to understand who I am now, who I am today.
Yes. And you know what? That brings up a whole nother point. This is so great. We as parents, that's why it's so important that we learn to be transparent with our children and to be mindful of what is going on with them. Because I know I have two daughters. One is in her middle 30s. And then I have another one that's a teenager. And the way that I raised the 13-year-old now is far different from the way that I raised the
See?
one, because I'm more aware, because when she was a
Right.
child, I was young. I was a
Right.
very, very young
Okay.
mother.
Okay.
And so things that I understand now, I did not understand then. And so the thing about
Exactly.
that is that I can look back and see that I did not protect my daughter like I should have. I wasn't open to what was going on with her. So some of the ideals that she has formed now is based on when she was a child. Whereas
Exactly.
this particular child here, I'm more alert, I'm more aware, I'm more open to listening to
Right.
what she has to
Right.
say, so that when she gets older, she will not make decisions based on what somebody's going to think. She
Exactly.
knows that you're to be an independent thinker. It's okay to be by yourself. It's okay, in order to be a leader, you've got to be in front, and you can't have a lot. These are the principles that I'm instilling in her
And that's
now.
good.
So when we talk about the decisions that we're making now that leads to depression and all of these other things are based on when we were children.
We were
That's because we
children.
probably lived in homes where our parents did not understand the importance of giving us a voice.
Right. Right. And
Absolutely.
back then, I don't think it was as important.
Absolutely.
You talk about baby boomers, and back then,
No.
it wasn't important back
No.
then.
No. You were
But
seen
now
and not
today it
heard.
is.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
today it is.
Absolutely. That's great. That's great information. Now, the abuse. You talked a little bit about, and I've heard the story about the abuse and how your spouse played mind games. That is the number one. When you control the mind,
Yeah.
you can control everything else
Yeah.
is going to follow.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about that, and then we want to talk about how your self-esteem was affected through that
Okay.
relationship.
And the bad part is, Cinder, I don't think he was aware of what he was doing to me. And an abuser usually isn't.
Okay.
I don't think he was aware. He was very controlling, and this is why I didn't have friends didn't even want to come over anymore, because he would try to
Control the
control
environment.
them.
Right.
I used to hang with my sisters, and when I would call them and I would say, "Oh, y'all are coming over. You're gonna come over. Well, is he gonna be there?" Stuff like that. So he was controlling everything.
Right.
And whenever my parents would come to visit, he wouldn't even be in the same room. He would go off into a different room
Correct.
because he couldn't control that moment.
Yes.
But the abuse was, it was to a point where, I got out of it through my oldest son. He came home from school one day and he just fell to his knees and he told me something. And he was like, "Mom, you got to get out of this. This is not you. You're humbled. God has something better for you." And if he saw that,
Right.
what kind of mother am I
To allow.
to
Yes.
allow this
Absolutely.
man to do this to
Yes,
me?
from the mouth of babes. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And what's
That was
also
my turning
important, because you have two sons, and you
right.
didn't want your sons, I'm sure,
Right.
to observe this behavior
No.
and believe that this is the way that you treat
No,
your wives,
no.
because certainly that brings a curse that, what they see, they're going to be what their sons could possibly
Exactly.
be.
And I want them, when they grow up, I want them to see what a strong woman is.
Right.
I want them to one day marry a strong woman like their mother. Not a woman that's going to be pushed around and take anything. I don't want that of them.
Right, right.
I have to set that
That
picture for
precedent.
them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about the effects, the physical,
Mm-hmm.
what people could see on the outside, and when it began to show.
Yes.
We know that most of the time we're able
Yes.
to hide the inside.
Right.
But the outside, when that began to show,
Mm-hmm.
how was that? How did that manifest itself? And then how was your family? The same people that you probably, married him in the beginning, trying to make like everything was okay. Those same
Right.
people were affected by what they
Right.
soon seen manifest on the outside.
So, because it was physical, I couldn't hide that. I gained weight,
Okay.
and I had gotten over 300 pounds. I was 310 pounds. and I had never allowed myself to get that big. And I hated looking at myself in the mirror. I hated who that person was in the mirror. I hated her. Jane was gone to me.
Okay.
And that's when the depression came in.
Okay.
You know, she was gone to me. And I don't know how it affected my family because I hid it so well.
Right.
When I was around them for, you know, activities like barbecues or whatever, picnics, church, I still smiled. I
And you
still
were
went
still
on.
the
I
Jane
still
that they
sang
thought
in
they
the
knew.
choir.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the revelation when
Okay.
you realized that you were worth saving.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Stick with us, and we'll be back with Jane to talk about depression, suffering in plain sight.
Questions about your finances, facts, and fishing? Join the New Orleans Talk Network and Dr. G, the Money Coach, on The Money Factor every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Sinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
Save the date. The 2017 Boomers Family Expo and Health Fair promises to deliver. There will be food, boomer fun, and vendors galore, and an entertainment stage that will rock with your favorites from the 60s and 70s. Come one, come all. Boomers, bring your seniors and your grads to the 2017 Boomers Family Expo, Saturday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mellot Park Center in Gretna. For more information, visit 2017boomersfamilyexpo.com. Hello, I'm Sinder, and we're back at the second half with Jane Helire, talking about depression, suffering in plain sight. Oh my God, this is such a wonderful conversation that we're having here, and it's so necessary, especially when you look at the statistics that 350 million people or more in a year suffer from an illness, a mental illness of depression. And the other reason why it's important to bring this to light is because we don't really think of depression as mental illness.
Right.
It is a mental illness. It was a time when you heard of someone having mental illness and you would think, they'd be medicated or what have you. But we are functioning under the stress and loss and, heartbreak and all the things that take place in our lives
Right.
that cause us to take on the spirit of depression. And not only are we affected, but our community's affected, our family, our friends, our children. No matter how we try to hide it, they are exposed to this illness that we have have taken on. And so that's why it's wonderful to have this conversation today. Don't you agree?
Yes,
Don't
I
you agree? I want to talk about your aha moment, the moment that you said, I am better than this. I have to love myself, if not only for myself, but for my children. Let's talk about that. When did
Okay.
that happen?
That aha moment happened when I stepped away from the marriage for the sake of my children. And that's when I started to become the person I was before I had gotten married. I started running again. I started spending time with Jane. I actually started dating myself.
Wow.
Yes.
Powerful.
And that's what I tell other women. Try not to seek who you're going to be dating or seek the next person, but date yourself first. Get to know you 1st. Go to lunch with yourself. Go to breakfast
Yes.
with yourself.
Yes.
Read a book. Go sit on the
Absolutely.
lake and read a book.
Absolutely.
Have a drink, with yourself. And those are the things that I did.
Yes.
I had to know me, and then I build a spiritual relationship with God.
Yes.
I got to know Him personally,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked Him, because most of us know Him, but we don't take time to listen for that voice.
Okay.
And that's one thing I asked Him for, to allow me to stop and listen to Him, speak to me,
Correct.
and guide me for the next step in my life.
Okay. Okay.
And so I couldn't wait to see where He was taking
Where he's
me.
going to take you.
Exactly.
That is so true. One of the most self-gratifying things that a person can do is to learn themselves, to learn who you
Oh
are,
my gosh,
to
it's
take some
beautiful.
time off, to be alone, so that you don't hear the chatter and the noises outside, and you're not comparing yourself to anyone. It's just becoming one with the universe,
Right.
becoming one with the Father, and saying, Lord, what is my purpose? Who did you create
Right.
me to be?
Exactly.
And that also takes courage, because when we do that, when we step into that, we are leaving a community of people behind who have been dependent
That's
upon
right.
us, or who have been friends with us, or
That's
relatives. We're no longer that person who we used to be,
That's
and
right.
we're people pleasers by nature. And so when you take on the courage and the mindset that I'm going to learn who I am,
Right.
and I am going to develop a life and a culture for myself. I'm going to use God's word.
That's
I'm
right.
going to use the principles that my parents have deposited into me, and I'm
right.
going to develop a system for my life and for my children. I'm going to change. For some of us, we may need to change generational curses and the way, old cultures and
Exactly.
old, way we used to do things, in order to develop something to provide quality of life for
That's right.
ourselves. Because so many times we enter into these relationships and into these cultures because we don't know who we are. And
And
once
we
we find
don't.
out who we are, then nothing else
And-
really matters.
And how do you expect someone else to get to know you if you
Oh,
don't know
wow.
who you are? And my
Yes.
thing is, we are not placed on this earth just to sit here
Yeah.
and suck up air. We are here for a purpose.
Purpose.
And you have to find your purpose. You can't tell the next person what their purpose is. I can't tell someone what their purpose is. Who do you think is to tell them? God is supposed to tell them, what their purpose is in life.
Yes. Yes.
It may
absolutely.
take them years to find out, but don't stop, don't give up.
Right.
But you have to realize you are not here on this earth to do nothing. You are here for a purpose.
You have a gift, a talent, a
Go
purpose.
and find your purpose.
Find your purpose. And not only
be
we're getting
still.
absolutely, we're getting off into a little something else because we started in depression, but this is so good.
And it's
because
all if you really look at it, it's all intertwining. With the depression. When you come out, we're talking about coming out of your depression.
Right.
The question, you asked me, how did I come out of my depression?
Right.
And this is one of the steps.
Yes.
I had to realize my purpose.
Absolutely. And then also you need that reason why. Beyond your children, because one day they're going to grow up. Beyond your spouse, he may not always be there, for one reason or another.
Exactly.
Not for your parents, not for your siblings or your community. But you need that reason why that you are walking the earth, a reason why you push yourself up out of the bed every morning.
Yes.
And when the enemy comes in, the word talks about like a flood, and the standard is raised up against him, you'll be able to operate in that purpose. You'll have something bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
It has to be something bigger than just getting up in the morning, functioning through the day, that you're constantly making yourself better. Like you said, you went back, you start working out, you start reaching, you bettered your education because of the purpose.
Because of the purpose.
Because of the purpose.
And I did not want to be stuck in that depression anymore. I did not want that. Once the doctor told me that I was in a depression, I was a depressed eater, it clicked. I'm like, oh my God, you diagnosed me with depression.
Right.
And if I'm feeling like that, could you imagine what other people are feeling?
Yes.
That number, 350 million,
It's big.
that's the number that they know about. What about the
what
numbers
about
that
the
they
other
don't?
350 that's not talking?
Exactly. That's scary.
So true. So
That is
true.
scary.
It's scary.
So yes, I started my workout. I go to the gym Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays, and after church, I hit the gym. It's instilled in me now.
Yes.
It's a part of me now.
A part of what you do.
I do not want to go back to that person. I have a picture of myself on my refrigerator when I was 300 something pounds. People thought I was pregnant on that picture. No, I'm not pregnant. No.
I'm just me.
And I have on that picture, do not go back to this person.
To where you've come from.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I spoke with you the other day, and I chuckle when I think about it. And we were talking, and you were at the gym, and you said, I'm getting ready to go into the sauna. You made me feel real bad because at the time I was sitting on the sofa like the couch potato that I can sometimes be, eating a bag of Lay's. Eating a bag of Lay's, and but you committed to me that you're going to be my coach and you're going to be my my cheerleader, and you're going to get me out in the gym to the gym with you. I
Yes.
laugh about that.
Pulling you in.
Thank you. We laugh about that, but for some people it's weight, for others it's other things, and so that's why we are. We're talking about this today so that whatever your situation is, that you plug yourself into this spot, because it all leads to, the same, all roads lead to depression.
Yeah.
All depressive roads lead to depression. And we just want you to know that you're not by yourself. That's what's important, because a lot of times when we're going through different issues, we isolate ourselves from our
do.
friends, family, and community and feel like we're the only ones that's going through it. But it's important to know that the number again is real. Over 350 million people, but every 5 people you see, one person is suffering from depression at that time. So we are just really thankful to have an opportunity and a platform to come and share that with you today.
Yes.
We are getting ready to go to break. And when we come back from break, we're going to talk about how you maintain your civility.
Okay.
How you do not go back to where you came from, to the issues of the past, and how you're walking victorious in your now.
Okay.
All righty? We'll be back at the second half.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Sinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's
Questions about your finances, facts, and fishing? Join the New Orleans Talk Network and Dr. G, the Money Coach, on The Money Factor every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Save the date. The 2017 Boomers Family Expo and Health Fair promises to deliver. There will be food, boomer fun, and vendors galore, and an entertainment stage that will rock with your favorites from the 60s and 70s. Come one, come all. Boomers, bring your seniors and your grads to the 2017 Boomers Family Expo, Saturday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mellot Park Center in Gretna. For more information, visit 2017boomersfamilyexpo.com. Thank you for sticking with us. We're back at the second half. We asked you to share, post and share and like and comment on what you've heard today. Reach out to us. If you know of anyone who may be suffering or experiencing any of the issues that we're dealing with, we ask you to contact us at boomerslifestyle.net or boomerslifestyle@live.com, and we will be happy to refer you to Jen or other healthcare professionals. We do have a list of them that will be available to minister to you, to counsel with you, and to walk you through the challenges that you may be experiencing at this time. Let's talk about new life. After we journey through our experiences, have such dark days, and we pick ourselves up and we move forward, there's new life on the other side. That's the exciting thing about it. You will win if you don't quit. And so, Jan, I want to ask you today, tell us a little bit about your new life, about your faith and how it keeps you steadfast in, your newfounded beliefs, and how you know that you will never revert back to that dark place where you once were.
Okay, so I'm loving my new life now. I'm loving Jan again.
Great.
I have mirrors everywhere.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And, I work out often now, Monday through Friday. And yes. And so I tell my boys, I said, if you guys don't want me to go to the gym, I don't have to, and they say, no, Ma, go ahead. And so they'll tell me, I have honest boys.
Okay.
And if I put on something that's not right,
Not appropriate.
they'll tell me.
Yes.
So I went up to them and I said, how did this look? And they said, Ma, you are really losing weight.
Wonderful.
So they tell me,
That's wonderful.
those are my critics. So they keep me going. And that's my motivation. My boys are my motivation.
Wonderful.
Because of their honesty and my faith. You know, I get up every morning and I thank God for a lot of things. I talk to him. I make it a point to talk to him first, because without him, I wouldn't be here right now. And even in the parking lot of my job, I read every morning a motivational little reading before I get out my car, to keep me going.
Strengthen you.
Oh, yes, I have to.
Yes.
Because, with everyone, there are triggers, and you have to know your triggers. And everyone who's dealing with you, they have to know your triggers. So, and everybody have triggers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What does your family think? Your parents? I know you're very close to your your family.
Yes.
What do they think of your new life?
They love it. They encourage me. My mom and dad, encourage me to keep doing what I'm doing, because, I always say I'm following the footsteps of my mom. She's an author as well.
Okay.
And a minister. She has her PhD in theology, and my dad's a pastor. So I really do listen to, their advice.
You have a strong community.
I really do, yes. And then, with my sisters and my brothers, they encourage me as well. They support. We're close. We're a close family. So without them, again, I wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be here. That's amazing, and that's wonderful that you have such a strong community of people supporting you. But, this is a question that I'm posing to you as a counselor. What about individuals who don't have that strong community?
Right. Good.
People to surround them and strengthen them to, once they do, find themselves getting up on their feet, no one to keep them strong.
And that is good you brought that up, because there are people that don't have a support system like I do. I was blessed to have that. So I would encourage them to get involved with support groups.
Correct.
That's why we have support groups.
Yes.
And even if you have to get with someone individually, someone that's going to motivate you. And my motivation at the time was being surrounded by other individuals that were positive. You have to surround yourself
Positive
with
community.
positive
Oh, my.
people.
Yes. Yes.
And that helped me as well. I done away with everyone that was negative,
Right.
that meant me any good. I didn't want to have anything to do with them.
Yes.
I went down in my phone list. And I deleted every
Yes.
person
Yes.
in my phone list.
Absolutely.
I did.
Absolutely. And that's a wonderful point. You may have to search
You
out.
do. You really
You may have
do.
to. So you have to do the work. It's something like with alcoholics and individuals who have different type of abuses. You have to search out a place to go.
You really
and
do.
surround yourself. Be it your church, be it clubs, be it the word
Right.
teaches us if we seek, we'll find. You have to be proactive, not only in gaining your health, but maintaining your health.
Maintaining.
And you have to be able to leave behind anybody
That's
and
right.
anything
You
that
really
would hold
do.
you back.
And that's how I maintain.
Yes.
That is exactly how I maintain. And if I'm in a room where I'm constantly hearing, negative thoughts or negative people speaking, I remove myself.
Remove yourself. Absolutely.
Yes. And I hear comments, oh, she thinks she's all
It's
that. She
okay.
thinks she's bougie.
Right.
I've been called bougie.
It's okay.
And I'm like, I don't entertain it because I know deep down inside
You're
why.
trying to save yourself.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. This has been an awesome show. We need to do a part 2.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I would just like to bring in a couple of other individuals just to sit down and have a conversation, because it's worthy of our time. It's
It
worthy of
is.
our time
It
to
is.
talk about. It's therapy for the mind and for the soul. And I thank you for being with us today. I thank you for your transparency and for your journey.
You're
I
welcome.
thank God that when we go through that he doesn't leave us alone, but he sends people like yourself who are willing to share their journey and their testimony and point the way,
Thank you.
to be strengthened. And to my audience today, I say to you that if you're suffering or experiencing symptoms of depression, don't isolate yourself. That's a trick of the enemy. Know that you're not alone. Know that others are suffering and have experienced where you're going. Others have gone and they're able to teach. And once you come out on the other side, you'll be able to teach as well. And so I thank you for joining with us today. And as always, I would like to pose a question to you. What are you going to do in your second half? 50 down and 50 to go. We've got to get busy. Take care till next week. Thank you.
I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's 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 golden, golden.